Hi everyone, this is Jody Asbell-Clarke, and I'm going to talk to you about the fun group and how we're dealing with engagement and looking at it and trying to measure engagement in STEM learning games. So at EduTurf, we've designed some games.
Oh, I'm nice.
And we have video of people, 7
Ah!
kids playing these games. And we see things like this kind of reaction.
Oh yes, level 5 already. Let's get it.
And we look at all these and we see all these as some form of engagement, not always happy, not always joyful, but in each case one could argue that this player is engaged. We collect all the back-end data, what some call the data exhaust, the digital data logs that are created from these games, and we're doing educational data mining to look at patterns of play, patterns of behaviors that people make in the game that we can detect through the game. And Edge's research originally was to look at these patterns of play and how they relate to learning, but through fun, we're also looking at how they relate to engagement. So we have a researcher, David Chernoff, on our fun team. He's currently at Rutgers and also appointed at NIU. And he was a student of Csikszentmihalyi, who is one of the founding fathers of the flow theory. And so we're building on David's research to look at how the patterns of play can relate to engagement in games. And it's about a balance between, well, in this case, challenge or difficulty of an activity and the skill level that the player brings to the activity. If both are too low, you get apathy or boredom. And if they're out of balance, the difficulty being too great for the skill, you might get anxiety, or when the skill is quite easy relative to the player's ability, it's a relaxed state. It might be nice, but it's not optimal for learning. It's when they're both at their balanced state that you can get into flow. Another way to look at flow is the balance between work and play. You're not always enjoying it when you're in flow. You might be struggling and challenged, but you're participating in what Seymour Papert might call hard fun. And we're trying to find that balance of work play that optimizes for STEM learning. And we're looking at the questions, how can we, first of all, detect flow in the data exhaust, combining experience sampling methods and educational data mining. How do these patterns of engagement that we can see in the data relate to STEM learning? How do we design activities and environments to optimize for this flow? So as I said, we're measuring flows with experience sampling methods. These are very small, 1-question or 2-question bite-sized surveys that we embed within gaming experiences. And then we also have a longer final survey at the end of an experience. So this is an example of how Brianna Kohler at NIU has embedded the surveys. The player launches, they're supposed to have, it goes somewhere it didn't. And so they failed, and this question pops up. So he answers this question, and now here's an example of the final survey. So you're playing the game and you've gone on, and now you have a successful turn. Woohoo! Whoops. You've been caught. Here, your mission's complete, and now it's going to give you a longer survey with a whole series of questions that you can go through. And so Brianna had already built this into their tool at NIU. We have now at Edge built this into our tool so it can be administered to people playing Impulse. And what we've now done is we've embedded the data so that the survey results are tagged with the same player ID and anonymous timestamp and anonymous player ID as the data. So it's infused right into the data, and we can track which participant was doing what in the game and how they answered the survey questions. So the survey construct of flow is broken out into these aspects that comes from David Chernoff's earlier research. We're building on that and building questions that fit into all our contexts. These are examples of the questions that we're using, and these would be embedded within the game. And then these are the types of questions that we're asking on the final survey And across the Fun Network, we have a variety of different STEM games that we're going to implement these methods within. I've mentioned Impulse from Edge and the NIU engineering games. There's also in Finland at Tampere, they're working with Minecraft EDU for language learning. And they also have a gamified online course for computer science, all of which we're going to incorporate the ESM and to some extent the EDM methods to look at the patterns of engagement and STEM learning. And this is our fun team from Finland. The research that I've been talking about today, the flow research, is particularly led by Brianna, Juho, Ari, Elizabeth, David, and Mikael. And I'd be glad to put you in touch with any of them to get our instruments and share our results. Thank you.